Hi, Shani. Welcome to Hitting Pan. How are you?
I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you. I've commented on it already, but your skin in person is insane. Like walking billboard for your products, I'm sure. Like, I can't believe this woman is 50. Not that that's young. Don't get me wrong, but you look like you are under 30 years old.
Oh my God, that makes me happy.
Like,
very
like,
happy.
I need a magnifying glass to look at your skin. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm already ready. I'm going to be getting suggestions on products from this because whatever she's doing, I'm going to be doing after this podcast. So I'm very excited to chat with you today. I always like to kind of start off the podcast with just like a little intro to kind of how you got here, right? So I refer to you as like the it esthetician in Hollywood, but like what was the journey to getting to this place, to getting to this kind of this success level that you have right now?
The journey was long. I grew up in a really small town, Plattsburgh, New York. And then when I was growing up, I was obsessed with skincare, but I was also obsessed with wanting to be a model. Mm-hmm. And I had an opportunity. I was in Montreal, Canada, and a scout found me and said, come to LA and you're going to be the biggest model in the whole world. And so I packed my bags and I was like, I'm getting out of here. And that was like 22, 23. And I moved to Los Angeles and I never modeled there. By the way, there really isn't modeling here. It's New York, at least at the time.
Like that type of modeling.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I kept waiting for the big break and I just kept getting in all of these like rap videos and like, it was just like a hot mess. I didn't know how to dance. And I was like, it was just.
But you were dancing. Like you were.
Well, sort of like trying.
I'm sure
like,
your dancing was.
No, I promise you. No. And so I just kept getting these music videos. And finally one day I woke up and I was like, I'm not doing this. Like, I don't want to be in this corset rolling around on the ground. I don't want to be here. And so I stopped and I don't really remember the transition, but I do know one of my friends said, well, you just love, like, you love working at a spa. I think it was really.
The vibes of like.
Yeah, it was weird. And so I went to school to be a massage therapist first.
Wow.
And I realized, by the way, that's a gift that you have to have. And I was like, this is wild. Yeah. I'm never doing this. Yeah. And then I went to school to be an esthetician and I knew immediately. But I definitely, start by saying, I was obsessed with skincare before. Like
when you mentioned that at the beginning.
Age, I just didn't know, when you don't know where your path is and then it happens and you're like, holy shit, this is what I was supposed to do. That's what happened to me.
Okay. Exactly when you said like, I know kind of what I like, but I don't know what that career is. Yeah. I'm the same. Like I thought I wanted to be a makeup artist. And I was like, no, I cannot be a makeup artist. Like, but I love beauty. I want to work in beauty. So it is like, that's career path.
It's a moment.
Figuring it out. Like when you feel it, you're like, oh, this is the thing.
Yes.
And so, but you had to do massage therapy school, or you had to do that first?
Just go through the school, but I didn't massage after it.
How long does massage therapy?
I don't even remember, but it was just like, it's also just a different vibe. Like it was a great experience to go through, but like, no.
Yeah, when you know, you're like, this is not. No. And then you found the thing that you really love. Okay, so then you obviously find your passion, your esthetician. Like, how long did you work before you went on your own? Like what? Because obviously like going to the level of success that you have working in Hollywood and having your own brand, like that, that's a big jump, right?
I was very smart and knew that it was so competitive out here that when I went to school, I worked as a receptionist at different places. And I was working at one place and a receptionist at spas. Yeah. So there was a spa that was going to be opening up and everyone was like, this is going to be huge, whatever. And somebody helped me get a job as a receptionist there. So when I was going to school, I was already at the front desk. Yep. So right after that, I was with like really amazing estheticians. They all helped me get a job working for a dermatologist. So right when I got out of school, I started working for a dermatologist. And that's kind of like, who gets that job? That's like...
I mean, and you're now getting the best of both worlds because you went to school for esthetician and then you get... That's significant. Yeah.
So I worked there and then I went everywhere. I worked for a plastic surgeon. I worked at the Sofitel, which is the Argyle, which is Sunset Towers. I worked at every place. The last place I worked at was a wellness center and I was pregnant with my second child and I just didn't want to move much. Like I was done and I had a back house behind my rental house. And one of my friends was like, you need to work from there. It was actually Jessica Alba. She was like, you need to set up the back. And I was like, no one's coming there. Like, who's going to come to this back? She was like, you need to set up there. And I did. And it blew up like crazy. And I had some of the biggest people. You have to understand, first of all, it didn't even have a bathroom in the back of it.
Wow.
So you had to go through my house to get to the back office. And I had these huge celebrities just pulling in a residential area and just coming through. I'm hiding my kids in my bedroom so that they could go to the bathroom. And then we walk back in my backyard to this back house. And it was like insane. Like, and it got to the point where, one, I didn't want to move out of there because I believe in energy and it was such an amazing place. But I also was like, my kids are now older and I'm really hiding them in the other room because I didn't want any of that.
Yeah, you didn't want them to feel, you just were like, I'm going to play it safe.
Yeah. So then I ended up finally moving. I don't know how long I was in there, but I finally ended up, and then now I have a studio in Beverly Hills.
Yeah, which is stunning, beautiful, perfect.
So
it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's my favorite.
No, but I didn't realize you went from that to your, so you went from that space directly to your studio.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there's no in between. Like you were,
in my mind, I was never ever moving. Like I was never moving, but it was just like a lot. Like I said, my kids were there, and then we had moved out of the space and we bought our first home, and then I still had this rental, and I was like, I just want my own. I'm done.
Yeah.
And so, but it was scary. It was definitely scary because when you have something good, it's like,
well, yeah, and that's where things kicked off, and you almost like found yourself as Shani Darden, the business owner, and like obviously, wow, that's amazing. So Jessica Alba had your back. She was like, I'm gonna push you to do this because you had no plans of doing it before then.
No, and let me tell you a better story about how she had my back. So the place that I was talking about, how it was one of the biggest spas that had opened up, it's closed now. The owner of that space was not the most wonderful person, and she ended up firing me after I had Phoenix. So my first daughter, she ended up firing me by email, and I had been with them for so long. It was like so brutal. Jessica had already become one of my clients, but we weren't like friends at all.
Yeah.
When she found out, she was actually in a rental house that had a basement that had a separate door, and she was like, "Oh, I just want you to come and do your clients at my house." So it's actually crazy. I thought about it like a few months ago when I was telling the story. I was like, how wild is that? She just let me have the key.
And you guys weren't, that's the thing, you weren't friends yet. You were just like you were client friends.
We both had our first child.
Okay.
And she's just like really into like moms and helping out. And so no, I would go to her house weekly with my daughter to do a music class, but it was a group of people. We weren't like,
opening
going
up
to
her
the clubs
for business.
We weren't there. We weren't there yet.
So,
but it's like wild. And she was like, no, you just do them. Never asked like, is there a stalker of mine that you're doing?
You're opening up, my address.
She was like, no, there's just a separate, you'll just use another key.
Yeah, I almost like don't know what's crazier, that or that she had a basement in LA. When you said that, I was like,
it wasn't a basement. It was like a side
secondary
entrance of this rental, because when she had her first child, she was starting the Honest Company, and she had taken had her house redone because to make sure the paint didn't have any.
Oh yeah.
So she did all of that. So she moved away to this rental, and it just had like this side area, and I worked in that room.
That's crazy.
Which is random clients.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
She just
that is a good story.
The best story ever.
And then so she's like, I'm opening up my home to you.
Yep.
And then she's going to be like, and you're opening your own studio in your rental. Now your turn. Wow, that's crazy. And you guys have like stuck together since, obviously. Yeah, you guys are.
I love her. She's great. I mean, she's on to other things, but she's a great person, and she's definitely very supportive. Wow. Yeah. Wild.
Man, wow, that's wild. Your origin story involves Jessica Alba, her house.
It's very random.
Oh my gosh, that's so amazing.